You know what? I'm actually going to be the bigger person today. I know I said I'm going to do a whole rant on the Braves if they lose, but I just can't bring myself to do it. So for every player on the 2023 Atlanta Braves roster, here is a number, a phone number. When you call this number, it will be me voicing my full-on support for you guys in these hard times.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Yeah, nah, I'm going all in. When the Braves had their season end by the hands of the Phillies last year in the 2022 NLDS, I let that go. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, the Braves finished way ahead of the Phillies that year and should have won the series, but considering the Phillies ended up almost winning the World Series afterward, showed that maybe it was meant to be after all. The Braves had just won a championship the year prior anyway, let Philly have this one, no biggie. So 2023 comes around, and the Phillies actually have an even better season than they did in 2022, winning more games during the regular season. Despite this, the Braves decided to have one of the greatest, most historical seasons of all time, especially offensively. Now, people say that a lot about a lot of teams. Oh, that lineup was great. Okay, but I want to put into perspective just how truly great this Braves lineup was. The stat OPS Plus basically tells you how good a player is compared to the league average. The league average OPS Plus is 100, so anything over 100 is of course above average, and anything below is below average. Of the 9 starters in the Atlanta Braves lineup, 7 of them had an OPS Plus over 100, 6 of those 7 had an OPS Plus over 120, 3 of those 6 had an OPS Plus over 130, and out of the entire lineup, only one hitter had an OPS Plus below league average at 98, with one other hitter having an OPS Plus right at 100. They tied the all-time record for home runs in a single season with 307 as a team. Matt Olson set a new Braves franchise record for home runs with 54. Ronald Acuna Jr. is the likely National League MVP award winner who put up insane numbers. I mean, it was historical numbers, doing things nobody has ever seen before, stealing 73 bases while also connecting for 41 home runs, becoming the first ever player to hit at least 40 home runs and steal at least 70 bags in a season. The Braves also hit to the best slugging percentage of all time, with a 501 slugging percentage as a team. The offense was good. I don't know if I made that clear enough, but it was insanely good. Even the pitching was good and set records, with Spencer Strider in just his second big league season ever winning 20 games, had the best strikeouts per 9 ratio in baseball on the year, while also striking out the most hitters in baseball at 281 on the year, with those 281 punchouts passing John Smoltz's Braves record for all-time strikeouts in a single season. This team won 104 games, set records galore, dominated everybody. And guess what? None of that matters anymore. When it was going on, it was cool. When all these home runs were being hit and when all these amazing moments and accolades were going on, it all seemed like at the time that this was going to go down as maybe the best Atlanta Braves season ever. But that sure as hell ain't the case now, because with what started and continued on for a while as an incredibly fun, exciting, and memorable season for the Braves, ended in the absolute worst way imaginable. For the Braves to match back up with the Phillies for the NLDS was perfect. If I were a Braves fan, that's exactly what I would want, a chance at redemption. But this time, things were of course different. Unlike how he was last year, Acuna was now a full-on MVP superstar player back in his true form. The Braves just in general were insane, literally the best offense ever. I mean, things were supposed to be different this time around. But instead, not only were they the same, but they were identical. Nothing changed. Nothing. Now, I'm going to make something very clear. I don't want anyone to think that this video is taking anything away from the Phillies. They earned this. They continue to earn all of their success and played freaking incredible this series. As for the Braves, cancel their franchise. They're done until further notice. But iTalk, the Braves had a very memorable season regardless of what happened in the postseason. You can never take away all the historic accomplishments this offense and team were able to do. Well, actually, yes, you can take that away. The Phillies quite literally just did. Because although, yeah, you can't erase the fact the Braves won the division by 14 games and had 2 MVP candidates and tied the all-time record for home runs and had their first baseman hit the most home runs in franchise history and had their ace pitcher become the Braves single-season strikeout king and had the best slugging percentage as a team of all time and literally had no weaknesses in the lineup because they were the most powerful lineup of all time, despite not being able to say none of that happened. Well, guess what? Whenever that is brought up now, any of those achievements, it will immediately be followed by, Oh yeah, sucks that they ended up getting dicked down by the Phillies for the second year in a row in the exact same way. Pardon my rated X adult themed language there, but I would be doing a disservice to all of you wonderful people watching this if I held back even the slightest. The Braves didn't get shut out at home all season long. Not one time. In the 81 freaking games they played in Atlanta this year at Truist Park at the damn Battery, which is what they call it over there, they never got shut out a single time. And not only that, to go back to the last time the Braves got shut out at home was 2021. It's been 2 freaking years. So, of course, on the very first postseason game played by the Braves at home, they cannot score a single run. Now, I know a lot of people are going to contribute this and the overall series loss to the fact that the Braves had almost a week off before their playoffs started compared to all the other teams who played in the wild card series. And to anyone who subscribes to that excuse, to that I say, heresy. If Major League Baseball began the Braves postseason in November, you might have an argument, but to complain about 5 days off ruining the team's rhythm and the reason that their season ended is terrible. If you cannot win just because you had more days off, which I don't think is actually the case, I don't think that's why the Braves struggled, but even if that were the case and that's why the Braves lost, then guess what? They're not good enough to win a championship. It's that simple. If you have to use some extra days off as an excuse, you weren't a legit World Series contender to begin with. Okay, so getting that out of the way, the Braves then didn't even get their first hit until the 6th inning of Game 2, only mustering up just 4 hits the entire game compared to the Phillies' 9 hits, yet somehow ended up actually winning the game, because yeah, they had just 4 hits, but 2 of those 4 hits were 2-run home runs. Michael Harris then makes a great catch, followed by a nice heads-up play by Austin Riley to double up Bryce Harper to end the game. The crowd goes wild, things are all of a sudden going the Braves' way, they have momentum, and then Orlando Arcia had to ruin everything. Now, was Orlando Arcia the one on the mound giving up home runs to Bryce Harper in Game 3? No, of course not. The pitchers deserve most of the blame for any home runs given up ever. But time and time again, we have seen teams and players, good teams like the Phillies and incredible players like Bryce Harper, players who live for the big moment, be given bulletin board material. Back in the 2018 ALDS, after the Yankees beat the Red Sox in Game 2 to take the series back to New York tied, Aaron Judge walked by the Red Sox clubhouse at Fenway Park with Frank Sinatra's New York, New York song blasting on a speaker. The Red Sox went on to win by a score of 16-1 the next game, with Brock Holt hitting the first ever postseason cycle, and the Red Sox also went on to win the series. During the 2021 ALCS, Red Sox pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez mocked Carlos Correa by doing his "It's My Time" celebration as the Red Sox went up 2-1 in the series. They didn't win a game the rest of the series. Things like this are just too obvious not to do. I get it. All Arcia did was just laugh and say a couple of words, and he never intended Harper or anyone outside of the Braves clubhouse to hear it. I get it. But at the end of the day, baseball has continued to show us over the years that karma, or celebrating too early, poking the bear, are just never things you want to play around with. It's literally playing with fire. And to give Bryce Harper, someone who's already a fired up and motivated guy to begin with, yet another reason to be fired up and motivated is just beyond stupid. As for Arcia, who didn't realize the media could hear him and then go on to report it,
you should have thought of that earlier.
And Phillies fans were clearly getting under Arcia's skin. There's a video going around of fans heckling him in the middle of the game, and Arcia cannot help himself and is looking back at the crowd, taunting them back, clearly bothered and annoyed, with it getting to the point where Acuna, who was sitting next to Orlando, had to kind of grab him and let him know to calm down. So the Phillies absolutely annihilated the Braves in Game 3, going on to finish the job exactly how they did it 1 year ago, by winning Game 4 too. Nick Castellanos also really took what Arcia said personally, apparently, because after going deep twice in Game 3, he went deep a couple more times in Game 4 off of Spencer Strider. Trey Turner also went deep, and the Braves offense went down pathetically by scoring just 1 run, getting a total of 3 runs in Philly between Games 3 and 4, and a total of 8 runs between all 4 games of this NLDS. Disappointing is an understatement. That word just doesn't even begin to describe how bad this is for Atlanta. Again, to lose to the Phillies once when you were the clear favorites is fine, whatever, you move on. But to then do it again in the exact same way? And I hate to call out players that I adore like Ronald Acuna Jr., someone who I feel probably wins MVP, Buddy, you didn't do shit this entire series. He got just 2 hits throughout the entire 4 games, and only one of them was an extra base hit. That's your MVP. He's got to be doing more. Matt Olson, another guy I love, who is one of, if not the best first baseman in baseball right now. Buddy, you didn't do shit either. 3 hits the entire series, none of which were extra base hits. I mean, come on, the stars of this team disappeared at the worst moment to do such a thing. And I don't have to say this, I'm sure they'd be the first people to own up to it. Travis d'Arnaud hit that one big home run. Other than him, Austin Riley and Ozzie Albies were the only 2 hitters who showed any fight in this Braves lineup. For the Phillies and their fans, this is of course great. It's wonderful, it's incredible, but for Braves fans, this ruins the season. If you look back at the 2023 season as a Braves fan and deem it a successful, fun ride, I'm convinced you're completely in denial. I'm sorry, there's just no other way I can put it. This season is now a wash. Down the drain, thrown away, confiscated, destroyed, torn apart, blown up. I can go all day. It's a complete and utter failure as far as I'm concerned, and the only way to come back from this is to either win the World Series again or beat the damn Phillies in the playoffs. This team can win 130 games next year, and I won't give a single care in the world because I know that at the end of the day, the Phillies own them and will continue to own them until proven otherwise. That's how I view it, and that's how I'm going to continue to view it indefinitely. The Philadelphia Phillies officially own the Atlanta Braves. They're their daddies, and there is absolutely nothing the Braves can do about it right now other than sit back painfully knowing that that is the case. Just pure torture and agony. But they did this to themselves. They should have won the NLDS against the Phillies last year after being the favorites. They failed to do that. And after getting a shot at redemption this year, undoubtedly being the favorites yet again, they should have won the NLDS against the Phillies this year. They failed to do that. And as a consequence, the Phillies now own your franchise. And the Braves should be ashamed for letting such a historical season just go to complete waste in the end. The 2023 Atlanta Braves are dead, and the 2024 Atlanta Braves will only continue to be dead, at least to me. Congratulations to the Phillies. These boys just continue to show that they're built for the big moments in October. They're legit. And congratulations, Atlanta. You ruined everything for yourselves and are now a complete laughingstock. Attaboy, Harper. Like this video if you want to see me destroy the Dodgers next, and thank you for watching and making it this far, especially if you are a Braves fan.